Madison Brush opening up about being willing to reconcile with her father, Sister Wives patriarch Kody Brown, has instantly become one of the most emotional and talked about developments in the Brown family saga, because it marks the first real shift in a relationship that has been frozen, fractured, and deeply painful for years. And what makes this update different from anything we've heard before is that Madison isn't rushing into forgiveness. She isn't pretending everything is fine, and she isn't sugarcoating the damage. She's laying down clear conditions, emotional boundaries, and expectations that show just how much she has changed and just how much her father will have to change if he wants to be part of her life again. For years, the Brown family's narrative has been dominated by collapsing marriages, tension between households, and the fallout of decisions that left multiple children feeling ignored, rejected, or outright abandoned. And through all of this, Madison, Janelle and Kody's daughter, once considered one of the more grounded and private siblings, quietly took several steps back. She stopped speaking publicly about her father, she stepped away from communication, and she let fans know only one thing: she wouldn't tolerate being disrespected, lied about, or emotionally manipulated. But in the most recent episode of Sister Wives, filmed in late 2025 and aired at the end of November, viewers got something we hadn't seen before. Madison didn't just talk about the estrangement, she talked about the possibility of healing. She said she is open to reconciliation, forgiveness, and closure. Those aren't just soft words. Those are the kinds of statements you make only after months of reflection, months of emotional work, and months of deciding how you want to move forward with a parent who has disappointed you more times than you can count. What she emphasized, however, is even more important. She is only open to healing if there is a pattern of consistency. Not one apology, not one dinner invitation, not one moment of vulnerability on camera. She wants proof. Repeated, steady, demonstrated behavior. Actions over talk. Follow through over grand gestures. And that one requirement alone shows just how deeply the wounds go. Because when you demand consistency, what you're really saying is, I've been let down too many times before. This emotional shift didn't come out of nowhere. Back in early fall, during a premiere episode of the season, Madison broke down in tears discussing her father. She said that while she had spent years trying to protect her peace and detach from the chaos, she still carried hurt, especially after feeling that her father publicly lied about her, misrepresented their relationship, and made statements on national television that didn't reflect reality. She talked about the experience of watching her father say things to millions of viewers that directly contradicted her lived experience, leaving her feeling betrayed, exposed, and unsupported. On social media in October, she elaborated even more. She admitted that when a parent says lies about you for the whole world to hear, you learn fast how to build walls, how to set boundaries, and how to create emotional distance out of self-preservation. She acknowledged her own flaws too, saying she played a part in the estrangement, but the core of her message was unmistakable. She was tired of being disappointed. Fans of the show have seen that pattern with many of the Brown children, from Isabel feeling abandoned during her surgery, to Gabe and Garrison publicly confronting their father over favoritism, to Leon calling out what they viewed as broken promises. So Madison's distance didn't surprise viewers, but her willingness to reconsider the relationship absolutely did. Her mother, Janelle Brown, was candid in her own confessional about the situation. She said that reconciliation wouldn't be simple, nor would it happen overnight. She acknowledged that Kody would have a lot to make amends for, and that even if he's reaching out now, it doesn't erase years of emotional neglect. But she also said something that stood out. Families can find connection again, even after deep fractures, and she suggested that, at least recently, Kody had begun extending small olive branches. One of those gestures came in the form of an invitation. Kody reached out and suggested a dinner in Raleigh, a simple meeting framed as a way to see Madison and her kids and start rebuilding communication. But even that came with complications. Janelle expressed skepticism about his motives. She said outright that she wasn't going to facilitate anything just because he asked. And that is extremely telling. Even the wife who once supported him most consistently is no longer willing to do the emotional labor for him. If he wants reconciliation, he will have to put in the work himself. Meanwhile, other siblings have expressed far stronger emotions. Recently, Leon Brown publicly blasted Kody after he claimed he had tried reaching out to his estranged kids. He called him a liar and described him as a joke of a father, making it clear that massive portions of this family are nowhere near reconciliation. That's the environment Madison is navigating, a family where healing is not the norm, where resentment runs deep, and where trust has been broken on multiple fronts. And yet, despite all that, Madison is choosing a different approach. Not naive hope, not blind forgiveness, but cautious openness. She talked in the most recent episode about wanting closure, not just for herself, but for her own children. She wants them to understand their family, to know their grandfather, but she refuses to introduce instability or emotional inconsistency into their lives. That is why her requirement for a pattern of consistency is so important. She is not just protecting her own heart, she is protecting her kids. As for Kody, the episodes and recent interviews have painted a picture of a man trying, or at least claiming, to reflect on his past. He has admitted his own flaws, acknowledging that he can be harsh, reactive, and emotionally unavailable. But self-awareness doesn't automatically equal change, and fans have seen him offer reflections before, only to fall back into old patterns. For reconciliation to truly happen, he will have to transform not just how he talks about relationships, but how he behaves in them. Still, the fact that Madison is no longer completely closed off is massive. She was one of the first children to quietly walk away, and for years she avoided even commenting on the family breakups. To hear her now, calm, mature, firm, and emotionally honest, signals a turning point. Not necessarily a happy ending, not yet, but a shift, a possibility. Viewers have responded emotionally to this new development. Many have applauded Madison for her boundaries, noting how strong she has become and praising her for refusing to repeat the same painful cycles. Others are hopeful, saying they want to see at least one of Kody's strained relationships repaired. And then there are those who feel protective, cautioning her not to let her guard down too quickly. But one thing almost everyone agrees on, this moment feels different. It feels like the first real chance in a long time for healing, cautious, fragile healing, to begin. And that is why this story matters. Because it's not just about reality TV drama. It's about a daughter wanting respect, a father facing the consequences of years of decisions, a family where emotional fractures have become part of the legacy, and a woman, now a mother herself, deciding whether the past will dictate the future. As Madison said, reconciliation is possible, but only if her father shows up consistently, respectfully, and honestly. Only if he proves that this time he won't retreat, he won't outlash, he won't contradict reality. Only if he proves he can be the kind of father she needed years ago and the kind of grandfather her kids deserve now. Whether Kody Brown is capable of that kind of change is still an open question. Whether this potential reconnection becomes something real or fades like so many of his attempted apologies before is only something time will reveal. But for now, the door is cracked open, not wide, not easily, but intentionally. And in a family where so many doors have slammed shut, even a small opening is a big deal. Make sure to like, subscribe, and stay tuned for more celebrity updates just like this.